Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. As you may know, or now are quite quickly finding out, it's delivery week here for me and my wife, and we are in the process of meeting our firstborn son. So excited, glowing. But as you can tell, I can't be in two places at once. So rather than bring you into the delivery room, I'm taking the week. Some may call this paternity leave, call it doula Dave, the week of labor. Either way, I've got a couple great pre-recorded interviews to share with you. The first today is with Stefanie from She's All Batch podcast. The She's All Batch podcast is a treat, as you'll hear my glowing testament. If you haven't already listened to them, you can get them wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search She's All Batch. But Stefanie and Jackie are the founding members and do a great job of sharing all the Bachelor content. But we got more from Stefanie today as we talked about motherhood and what it's like to be a content creator and creating a podcast while being a mom. She gave birth during the beginning of the pandemic and has a pretty wild story to share with us. Her husband even calls during the episode to offer some advice. So we're very excited to have their wisdom as we enter a uncharted season of our lives. And we'll give you guys all the updates as they come. This episode is also available on the podcast Bachelor Rush Hour. Here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to be giving updates, whatever I can give regarding my journey and process, if you care to know about those on the podcast. I'll have them in the description of these episodes. So go check that out, download it if you want to listen to the audio version, which is exactly what you're about to hear next. Enjoy my chat with Stefanie of the She's All Batch podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, so excited today to talk to longtime friend, peer, co-host of She's All Batch podcast. It's Stefanie. How are you?
Hi, Dave. I'm so good. How are you?
Fantastic. So good to have you here. How's life going?
Life is great. Your life's about to change very soon. I'm excited for you. How are you doing with baby planning?
I don't know if we're in the 1 week zone. We're like ready to go, right? We're in the zone
That's
2 weeks
insane.
before. But for those that are listening to this, we're probably delivering. Like this is a go live when the baby comes out type of episode.
Right. Oh,
So
so this is like we're from the past right now.
yeah, yeah, we're in the past, and
Okay.
I'm in the future, having holding a baby, swaddling, and this and that.
Oh my God.
This is the closest thing I could get to paternity leave here, is banking a few
Oh
interviews.
yeah. Well, I wanted to ask you, like, how long are you giving yourself to like completely check out?
Oh, good question. Now, I don't want to. This angers people when I'm not going to just work throughout my child's formative first month. You know what I mean? But I'm not going
Yeah.
to take time off either because this pays the bills. It's not like this is a men's rec league, kickball tournament I'm a part of. So I'm gonna I'm
Yeah.
gonna I'm gonna still be working, a couple things here and there, but I don't wanna spoil people with my actual workload, but I can get things done in a couple hours a day, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that a bad
That's
should I take a month off? What do you think?
I think you should do whatever. I honestly wait for the baby. I'll say that because I think you don't know what it's like until you're in it and no one can really prepare you for it. I will say that like for me and I know that other people that have experienced it like the first 3 months it's getting your footing and it's tricky, but for me at the 3-month point like I felt like life could kind of not go back to normal, but like have some sort of normalcy, have some sort of routine. But, I mean, you have an amazing wife, so if she's able to, like, care for the baby while you bang out your videos every single day, then you've got a really good gig.
Well, I mean, yeah, and again, and not to pass the buck, but as the guy, I mean, I can't breastfeed, so I'm gonna be there. I mean, so I know. I mean, I'm progressive, but I don't think I've got the glands ready to go.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, how did your man support you? Like,
Oh,
what worked for you guys?
he was amazing. I mean, he did all diapers. I didn't, like, touch a diaper for probably the first 2 weeks, and, like, dressing the baby, doing like, because I had to do all the feedings, he tried to pick up the slack with everything else. I mean, changing, like, ah, not bottles if you're breastfeeding, but, like, I guess being on top of laundry, like, you don't realize how many clothes they're gonna go through. I was doing laundry, like, every single day, and he would always, like, help out with that because I didn't really have a choice. I had to do the feeding. So
Yeah, that's so our situation has improved so greatly here in Tennessee. When we lived in our studio in Los Angeles, we had to go to a 7-Eleven laundromat, like a laundromat next to a 7-Eleven, because we lived on a third floor walk up and there was a real shitty laundry in the basement, but it was easier to just go somewhere else and bang it all out. But,
yeah,
you're doing laundry with, I mean, I hate to say it, but unhoused people could do their laundry there. It's a real circus.
yeah.
Um,
Well,
and
you
then
have
we
a
moved.
laundry machine now?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's amazing. It sings a song when it's done, when the laundry
So
goes
does
up, it's like,
mine.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm like,
same.
yeah,
Do we have the
let's
same machine?
I think we have the same. Maybe it's an LG or something.
Yeah.
When we bought the house, we said, "Well, we'll buy the house if you give us the laundry." We like played hardball, and we were gonna buy the house anyway. But so
Big
there's
deal.
yeah, there's things that I generally enjoy doing here. But we've got a 15-year-old basset hound who's in diapers, and I have to walk him out. I have to carry him outside. This
Oh,
55
really?
pound. Oh yeah, I mean he's
I didn't
barely
know
walk.
that.
Yeah, he's just getting old and he can barely walk, so I have to kind of carry him to let him go and change his diapers. Now, obviously, it's different
Oh,
with a baby, but I think I'm gonna take after your man's lead here and be like full diaper duty. And I
yeah,
think my job will be kind of like throwing coal in the engine of the train. Like Tasha's the train. She's got to be on the tracks, and I'm just gonna be like, here, feed you. And what I've learned is that there's a real support system with a lot of the men I'm talking to, which is cool. I was recommended this book about like the 40 first days and how to feed your wife, and bone broths and a lot of Eastern traditions and things that I never even considered.
yeah.
Did you worry about your diet as far as like nourishing your baby when you right after the baby?
Oh, because I breastfed?
Yeah.
Um, I don't remember, like, being on a specific diet. At that point, I was in survival mode. I also had my baby in March 2020. So, I was in the hospital when, like, people were not going to the hospital because it was the start of COVID and everything was very scary. My husband and I were just talking about it yesterday, like, it kind of put, like, this dark cloud over that period of time because we're talking about potentially trying, spoiler alert, I don't know if I'm gonna really do that, but, like, I was like,
Oh, you're
I'm
talking
so
about trying again right now?
yeah, oh, I don't know,
Oh,
maybe after the summer.
good luck. Well, I mean, I hope, interview with me will really get your blood flowing here for the second baby. Maybe you can name him Dave or something.
I probably
Uh,
will.
Good. Yeah, it's
But
not a common name at all.
well, so we were saying though, like, it would be interesting to do it again because our experience would be completely different. Like, there was nowhere for me to go. I couldn't have anyone come over. We didn't have any help whatsoever. And I'm like talking now and I'm like, we could have like a nurse come once a week if we want. Like anything is like available now. And it's just I feel like we'll be so much more appreciative for that help because we had nothing because no one
That's so
could leave their
wild.
houses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then my brother had a baby after you during the pandemic where he couldn't go to any doctor's appointments. And I'm
Oh
like
yeah.
I'm like 12 for 12, not to humble brag, but I'm so fortunate to have this job where I'm able to go to doctor's appointments. Like today, as we're recording this, what's today? The 19th. Today's
Yeah.
April 19th. As we record, you're listening on a different day. But as we're heading to our hypnobirthing class. We're doing like a hypnobirthing class where you learn mantras and try to work on positive like calming breath flow. And we're watching like videos of hypnobirthing where you try to just like stay as calm as possible so you prevent any of the unneeded stresses from restricting the birthing process. And they change terms now from you don't say yeah I'm what's it called, contracting, is that the term when you're
Yeah, what do
or
they call it now?
they call it like, wait, I'm having waves, or you can do like they give
Oh,
everything
but
new words.
it's not new. I remember them saying like that's how I would describe it though, because it does feel like a wave. There's a video of me in the parking lot of the hospital, and I'm like, hold on, I have a contraction. And I do like a little dance, and I'm like, okay, I'm off the roller coaster. Like it literally feels like you're like going up and down, and the pain at the top is horrible, but it goes away for like a minute, and
Is
then
your
it's back.
husband timing it at this point? I have my little stopwatch here that I use. Does he have like a little like
I have it's so funny. This is so fun to like talk about this with you. I'm so excited for you to like be at this stage. Um When I went into labor, I recommend Tasha get some sort of app when she's having contractions, because one thing I learned from those, like, classes and courses that you go to, which I do find valuable, but I don't know how much I actually used it in real life, but I still would recommend going, is that they said, like, the biggest mistake you can make is go to the hospital early,
Mm,
because you're either they're gonna send you home, or you're why would you wanna be in the hospital longer than you have to be? Especially for my situation, you were like, we didn't wanna go to the hospital. Um, so I had an app, and it was awesome, and it's like press the middle button every time you feel a contraction. So I literally did it. I sat on my couch for like an hour, and then finally it said like get ready to go. So I'm like, okay, I like packed my husband's, like I packed food for us. Like I like was very I think I took a shower because I knew I wasn't going to be able to shower for a while. And then like but it told you like, okay, like now where your contractions are closer, like go. Like you need to go now. And that was
wow.
really cool. So I didn't have to time it. Take
Oh,
your
that's
mind out of
nice.
it. Let an app do it for you.
Oh, yeah, because I'm gonna be, just a wreck. I'm the guy who's always the first person of the party. I have to be on time, and,
Same. Super
yeah,
prompt.
I don't know what that is. Now, forgive me for not knowing your timeline of She's All Batch. Were you recording at that point?
Oh no. No.
So you what were
I
you tell me about you were working you don't have to get into it, but were you still working in did you, in your previous job, or were you completely, like, free?
so I made the choice. I was doing I was a freelance writer for a bunch of different entertainment sites, and then I told myself that at March I gave myself, my son was born March 28th, and I think I stopped like March 15th, and I'm like, I'm just going to take my last weeks of to just relax, and then I started She's All About podcast in October 2021. So it was a while of just
Okay.
being a mom. Yeah.
Because we talk about the all the classes and you say, "Well, you're probably gonna throw all that out the window." I think it really comes down to for Tasha, it's just it helps her feel as educated as possible,
Yeah.
and I think
Totally.
part of education is just being aware of everything that can happen, and that means postpartum and understanding that, how important sleep is and that, I actually had a family member have postpartum psychosis, which is extremely rare, but
Wow.
it's extremely dangerous. And she had to go, she had to kind of, I hate to use the term, get institutionalized, but I'm sure that's not the
Wow.
proper term. But it was a big deal. And then for her next baby, it was just, she had done all this work to overcome that, which is a real disorder. But I'm sure part of it comes from the stresses. You're just like triggered into this new sort of like world where you are not in control. So worse
Right.
than postpartum depression. But anyway, you learn about all these things just to look for the signs of them. What did you do to sort of try to, prepare, as you are a preparer, for, like, all of the, knowledge that there may be dark times due to the roller coaster of hormones and stuff?
There was no preparation for me. Like I didn't prepare. Um and it's rough. It's hard. I mean, the beginning is hard no matter what. So I feel like whether it's technically postpartum depression or you're just struggling with this massive life change, which I don't really know what I went through, but I definitely went through a time. Um, but I don't know how you can prepare. Like, how do you prepare? You can't take medication.
Yeah.
So there was no therapists. Like the world like shut down. I don't think BetterHelp was a thing yet. Like all the digital stuff going on. So I mean, well, also I didn't know. You don't know.
Yeah.
It's so funny. This video will come out and you will know, but right now
I have no
it's
idea. No,
crazy.
I'm aware at how naive I am, which is so funny because, our audience is mainly women. And so I get all these grizzly vets going, "You've got no idea. You're going to do this. You're going to do that." And it's like, sure, whatever. All right. But for someone who doesn't know, I'm very opinionated on what I want. And I see so
Yeah.
many problems out there with the way I think other people are raising their kids with regard to, I was raised by a single mom, and if you ate fish sticks for dinner, you ate fish sticks for dinner. There wasn't much of a value on nutrition because it's like we were more in survival mode. Yeah, that's such a
Mhm.
luxury to be like, I want my kid to have salad every day. It's just such a luxury when you're just like, doing Pop Tart strudels and shit.
Yeah.
But what I wanna know how you navigate being a mom and being a content creator because that seems like wildly challenging.
Yeah, it's funny. My co-host Jackie and I have said we've gone through like eras in this time period because it's been since 2021. And in the beginning, my son was home and we literally would record when he napped. And if he woke up, well, got to stop. Like there was nothing we could do. And now I'm in a much different situation because my son is in like preschool. So he's gone from 9 to 2. And I don't have to, well, I leave to get him at 2. So I literally have 9 to 2, that whole chunk of time. So I have a lot more time, but I didn't always have that. So it was really, we did a lot of stuff like at night. We in the beginning, we were like, we did not have like a structure. We're so structured now and we have such a good routine. My f-
I didn't hear
my
anything.
husband's calling. Should I
Oh,
answer it?
yeah, answer it. Sure. We'll take any advice you can give us.
Okay. Hello? Hi, I'm recording a podcast right now. I just wanted to answer because my friend Dave Neal, he's asking for parenting advice because he's having a baby like in a week. What's your piece of advice? Do you want to give advice? I could put you on the mic. Hold on, hold on. Hold on. Okay, what is your advice?
My advice is sleep as much as you can right now.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. And then really take the advice of anytime you have an opportunity to sleep, take it. Like anytime that kid naps, nap.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank
You
you.
don't have to, just do it.
All right, thank you. Let me go. All right, but it was all okay? Okay. All right, bye. I love you.
A New
I
York
hope that's not
relationship.
cliche advice.
That's
It's
amazing. No, because sometimes we'll be on our phone and be like we should be sleeping. Like we'll have to make it a priority to be like just get it. And I'm sure it will be tired enough that that'll be easier to just kind of like get into that rhythm. But absolutely, that's
wait,
great.
one thing that I'm thinking of when you're like, how can I step up for Tasha? I remember my husband at some point in the beginning, he like had the baby and he's like, go take a nap. And I was like, really? I was so excited. I like jumped into my bed. It was like the greatest sleep of my life because I knew that like I had no worries at that moment. He's
Mhm.
handling it. Moments where you can do that for her. I mean, you're going to be losing sleep too, but
Yeah, I
if
can
you
handle it.
can,
I can
yeah.
handle it. We're gonna be trying to do this. It's called like the 5-5-5, where she spends the first 5 days in bed, and then the next 5 days like barely. There's this Western world where we've sort of taken this weird pride in getting out and rebounding so fast, but everything we've
Mhm.
read is about you really have to take those initial few weeks to really, really slow down. Were you worried about like your recovery process?
Um, no. I guess I wasn't it's just I think I'm a specific situation because at
You're such a New
my time.
Yorker. You're like, "No,"
Why?
because you're just New Yorkers are just on the go. You're like, "No, I was starting a podcast by day 3. I was
No,
good."
I wasn't, but I wasn't. No, I'm saying my specific situation is because like the world was a really scary place at this time. So I wasn't really my mind was other places. So I know for me, I lost baby weight fairly quickly because I literally went on hour and a half walks with my son every single day in the summer heat. And that's actually when I got into podcasts because there was nothing to do all day and I couldn't be around anyone, but I needed to get out of my house. I felt like it was Groundhog's Day. So I would go for walks and I would entertain myself by listening to podcasts. And that's when I started like really liking them and kind of looking for more. And then that's why I'm like, well, if I'm looking for it, maybe I should do it.
You
And then
know,
I did it later.
as yeah, as much as that must have sucked to give birth during the pandemic with all the isolation, I have to say some of the best memories I have were the additional hours of free time during the pandemic. I was running a lot. I was going on these walks just like you. I was listening to so much content and that was my way of bonding. So maybe there is something I can take from that, which is like really clear the schedule. Yeah, to go on. We have this nice little neighborhood that we moved to with a private walking trail, and we were actually lucky when I had my show in Arizona with Clayton. I did a driving with Dave with Courtney Robertson, and she was like, "Yeah, we got this extra stroller. Do you guys want it?" And I was like, "We actually haven't bought a stroller yet." And it was one of those oh, what's it called? Oompas or
Up a
Unas?
baby.
Up a baby. That's it.
Those are like the bougiest ones. Take it.
Yeah, and I was like, and Tasha's the type who's like, we want to make everything our own. Why would we want to use thing? But I was like, oh yeah, I was like, I think this is a good one, but I didn't know if it was good, so I sent it to her, and Tasha's like, yeah, you go get that. And
Yeah. Wait, you got it?
it didn't have the infant child seat. It was like the toddler child seat
Okay,
with
save it.
with the frame, like the actual pushing stroller and the thing that goes in the car that the car seat mounts onto. So it was like $700 of an $1,100 system. So I was like, I don't even know how to get this home. I'm a guy catching a flight, and I just went to the
Oh,
airport, and they like just checked it all in, and then it just arrived all for free. And I was like, oh, I'm sure traveling with a baby's hard, but this is so much easier than I thought. I thought you'd have to pay for all of the extra parts. They just checked it all. And then I think someone told me that they sneak some like clothes and things into the stroller when you check it. That way you get a little bit of extra free stuff you can travel with. And
oh, okay.
I was in dad mode. I had the stroller, but then everyone started side eyeing me because I didn't have a baby. So so I was just like some random bro going through the airport with a stroller. But then Tasha came to pick me up, and she was full, full belly. And I was like, see, look,
Yeah,
we do have a baby coming. I'm not an asshole. Um,
yeah,
so yeah, we're getting there. But yeah, having a stroller like that, that's like premier, like really nice quality. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna take tons of walks. Like we've been walking a lot, just trying to keep the bodies moving during this pregnancy. But
yeah.
aside from walking out after, what can you like attribute to what got your groove back as far as entering motherhood?
Which groove?
Just
Like, what's
it's just
what's groove?
groove, like relearning new habits, and like when did you feel like you kind of had control of being a mom?
Um, Maybe like 5 months. It took a turn. I remember my son was a month and a half, and someone told us at 3 months it gets easier and better. And I remember my husband and I looked at each other, and that we were like, "That's his entire life again. How are we ever going to make it to 3 months?" Like at that point, it seemed like a month and a half was going to be 7 years, and now we look back and I'm like, "Okay, it's 3 months. That's going to go by in 2 seconds." So so 3 months got easier, and maybe like 5, 6 months I had the hang of things. Like there's little things like you're talking about the stroller, and my first thought is like, do you know how to open and close it? Because those things are a bitch. If when you don't know, like and there's people that like they write on the stroller like press here, click here because it's easy to forget and mess it up.
Oh yeah, no, it's an this has an easy system, but we also got the
Mhm.
bassinet that goes on top, and it's all like a one click on and off. So
Nice.
I mean, like I said, completely naive, but I think if we can just try to go day by day. Now, your husband in this brief encounter I just had seems wildly competent and wildly cool. Have you guys considered a husband wife podcast?
Oh god, no.
Why
No,
not?
never. Although he's really funny. He'll sometimes take credit for my jokes or something. Like if something comes up and I mean I reference him all the time, but sometimes I'll say like, "Oh yeah, like I talked about blah blah blah." And he's like, "Oh, there I go, like creating content for She's All Batch." And he likes to pretend like, take
Have
credit.
you ever been approached by Dear Shandy to do one of their Love Fest episodes?
No. I don't
Would
think I'm cool enough to do that.
oh,
Or
you're
you did it, right?
if you believed in yourself the way I believe in you, I
Aw.
think you and your husband should take a stab at it. I think that would be fun to do a little
Yeah.
influence the family.
That's nice. I don't know how much I care to have people know my personal life in that way.
Got you.
So, and I also don't know how much other people care. But it's
Well,
nice that you care. I'll do it for you. I'll send you a video of me talking about my life.
I think now again, you might not be comfortable with this, but my strategy in life is the more people learn about you, the more you become the product. No, not in some toxic way like you're pimping your kid out, but the more you become the product, I think the more investment people have. Because we cover a very transactional brand, which is what did the last Bachelorette say or do? What did Gary Turner do? We cover that. But then when that's gone, what are we if it's just the transaction of the news versus the transaction of like the soul? So I think you've got more underneath the surface that you're holding back from us, even though you're already like, we already love what you guys do. I just,
Well, I will say I mean, I'm not like a weirdo that my listeners know a ton about me. I'm just saying, like, sitting down with dear Shandy and telling everyone, like, when we first banged, like, I don't know if I want to talk about that on YouTube,
yeah, you
but
said that, not
each
me. I didn't say you had to tell. That's question
I'm
one.
assuming that comes up. Don't they go through like every stage of your relationship?
Well, I don't know if it's every stage, but so when did you first bang? No, okay.
It was like
And you are a weirdo, but I mean that yeah, as a compliment.
I
We're all
know.
looking for what makes us different here. But you're a little Italian New York fan. Are you both Italian?
No, he's Polish and Irish.
Oh, there it is. So you have a
Mm.
Italian, Polish, Irish. So that's probably a lot of drinking and yelling. I feel like Polish or
No.
no, not at all. No.
No,
He's
him?
how
No,
did you
he's like
guys
the
how did you
chillest
guys
guy
meet?
ever.
How'd you guys meet?
So he is actually the brother of my sister's childhood best friend. So I always grew up looking at him as like the hot older guy, always. And I hooked up with him when I was like 21, and then that was it. And then later in life, we just both were single at the same time and crossed paths. And literally from there, just started dating
So
and
this
then got married.
21-year-old hookup, was this like a big, check off the list? Like I finally got, whatever.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Was it
No,
like a
I mean, I always, like, looked I thought he was cool. Like, I was 21 and he was, like, an older guy with a job, and was an adult. He had an apartment and had, like, paid rent. He was so much cooler than me, and I just thought he was I always use the word charming to describe him back then. Wow, this is like Dear Shandy. And, so, yeah, no, I was pleased that I hooked up with him back then, but yeah.
and then what was the time that went by before you rekindled? Another
So I was
decade?
21. No, reconnected with him when I was 27 to 28, so a while.
And what was the
We
catalyst for the reconnecting? Right, we're like right
uh,
place, right time?
yeah, like, well, if you really wanna know.
Please.
Okay. 2012, I was like my single year, and in the beginning of the year was difficult. And it's so funny because then at the end of the year, I was literally practically married. But in the beginning of the year, I was like, no one's ever gonna love me ever. And I was on Facebook and literally remember when Facebook you would update your relationship status and it would go on people's timelines?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember
Big
that
deal.
time
Yeah,
period?
that's when, like, the vultures came out.
Yeah. So the top
Stephanie's
of my
single, and everyone's like, "Well, here we go."
yeah. No, I was already single. And then on the top of my timeline was my husband's name is single. So I happened to be going to his town because there was like some festival or parade or something that weekend. So I was like, okay, so I'm gonna tell him I'm coming. And that's how we like reconnected.
There you go. A good old Mark Zuckerberg
He
story.
jokes, he's like, "Yeah, the second you saw that, you raced to message me," and I'm like, "Yeah, and I told you I was coming, and you, like, cleared your plans so you could see me at the bar, so don't act like I'm the only
Ladies
one."
always try to play it cool, but that's funny. I always say when my wife and I, when we first like, we were like friends, and when we first like crossed that threshold, I could just
Yeah.
like tell that I could like see the mood change which was like, "What are you doing later?" And I was like, "Oh, I got a stand up show," and she's like, "Oh, you don't want to see me?" And she's giving me a little attitude, and I was like, "Oh, here we go. This is a whole
Uh,
different ball game now. We're there." So that's
yeah.
always that's a fun story you guys have. But
Yeah,
well, look, I mean, your story keeps growing as your family does, and you're a huge. We're big fans of you over here, and for everyone
same.
listening, what I want to promote you guys. Obviously, She's All Batch podcast. You guys, what I love about our like sort of peer system is we're both very similar in our content strategies. We are non alumni in the world of The Bachelor, seeking out interviews. We don't always get permission, so we're kind of in that same boat. But how's things going? Give me a state of the union for She's All Batch.
Things are going really great. I thank you to you. I feel like I always go to you for advice, and you've given me so many great ideas and strategy. And I really appreciate having like an outsider as a sounding board, and like you're like my go-to. That's why when I said to my husband, like you guys have never met, but he knows Dave Neal because I've told him about you. And so it's really great to have other people that are doing the same thing and understand like the behind the scenes of it. She's All Batch podcast is alive and well. What I'm really excited about is every Friday we have like a new series that we're doing called Sound Off, and Sound Off in the comments below is like kind of a joke from our podcast, but basically Sound Off is when our listeners will submit the topics that we talk about. So we Jackie and I will each put up like a question box on Instagram, and people will anything. Like literally in this one that just came out today, someone wrote, "Marry, fuck, kill, breakfast, lunch, dinner," and we had like a whole debate over what the
I'll
answer
give
would
you
be to that.
mine. I'm gonna
Okay.
marry breakfast. I'm gonna
Oh
ki I'm gonna
no, that's awful.
I'm gonna kill lunch, and I'm gonna fuck dinner. Yeah, I'm a big breakfast guy.
Not me.
What's your kill?
I breakfast. We're like not compatible at all.
Oh, I would kill breakfast if I could eat breakfast for lunch. I don't like the breakfast time. I like the
Mm.
breakfast food. So if I could substitute that for brunch and just get rid of lunch, I would do that, but I'm not getting rid of dinner.
You just really like eggs. You're like an egg guy or something.
It's the eggs and muffins, and I just like the whole rigmarole of like croissants and fun, you know, things.
Croissants.
You know? I'm getting hungry now that we're talking. Well, but look, we're out of time. I want everyone to go give you guys a shot if you haven't already, but everyone here already knows the She's All Batch podcast. You're the best fangirls of the show. You watch it with that fun energy. You've built this little, you know, you built your empire out of nothing, and I respect the hell out of you guys.
Thank you. Same to you.
All
And
right.
I'm so
Well,
excited for you.
next thing you'll know, we'll have a whole new listener here. I'll have a baby listener. But thanks
Are you
again.
gonna wait? Are you gonna show him? Or yeah, it's a boy.
We'll
You're gonna
do a
show him?
reveal eventually. Yeah, we'll just you know, whether it'll probably be random and maybe on my Patreon. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I'm
Okay.
not gonna like we're not gonna like blur him out. I think I understand why people do that, but like I don't think we're
Mhm.
famous enough for people to care about our baby. But we'll try to like protect his, you know, personal things. I guess I don't know. But,
Yeah.
yeah, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do an episode swaddled, you know, I'll have him swaddled,
Oh.
and I'm not gonna address it at all, and I'm just gonna do a normal episode, and then people are gonna go, "Wait, what the hell is that?" And then, you know, it won't show his face, but it'll just be like, you know, I'll just have, like, the nestle happening, and then we'll, like,
Oh my
slowly work
god.
him in.
May
Yeah, but
1st, right, is the due date?
that's on my birthday, that's the due date,
Oh,
so,
yeah.
you know, I'll be, you know, not necessarily a young dad, but, my wife's birthday is a week after mine, so if we can get it in that sweet spot, we'll have a good family
Oh,
birthday party.
that's so fun. Oh, I'm
Very
so
fun.
excited for you.
Well, thanks again for doing my special, delivery podcast, I appreciate you.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.